Hello everyone. Last time we have completed chemical properties of group 16, 17 and 18. So today we'll begin with allotropy. So first we'll understand the meaning of allotropy. It is the property of some chemical elements to exist in two or more different forms in the same physical state known as allotropes of the elements. So we are talking about group 16, 17 and 18. Among these in group 16 exhibit allotropy. Okay, so we'll see the allotropy forms of each of the element in group 16. So the first element of group 16 is oxygen. So oxygen exists in two allotropy forms. They are O2 and O3. Oxygen and O3 as ozone. Okay, and next one is sulfur. Sulfur exists in again two allotropy forms. There are many, but among that thing we will be seeing these two important allotropy forms of sulfur, that is rhombic and monoclinic sulfur. Next one is selenium. Selenium exists in red and grey form. Selenium exists in two allotropic forms, that is red and grey. Red will be non-metallic in nature and grey will be metallic in nature. Next one is tellurium. Tellurium exists in two allotropy forms and they are, one is crystalline and the other one is amorphous. And the last one, polonium, again exists in two allotropy forms. They are alpha and beta forms. The alpha as well as beta forms are said to be metallic in nature. I missed out one thing over there. Sulfur exists in two forms, that are rhombic and monoclinic sulfur, and both the things are metallic in nature. Please understand, both the things are what? Metallic in nature. So now we'll see allotropes of sulfur in detail. As you all know, sulfur exists in numerous allotropic forms. So among that thing we are going to see rhombic sulfur and monoclinic sulfur in detail. Now first we should know that rhombic sulfur is referred as alpha sulfur and monoclinic sulfur is referred as beta sulfur. Okay, so we'll see the properties of each one, and remember they are the most important allotropic forms of sulfur. So now we'll see the properties. First one, color. Rhombic sulfur is pale yellow in color, whereas monoclinic sulfur is bright yellow solid. Next one, shape. Rhombic sulfur is orthorhombic crystal, whereas monoclinic sulfur is needle shaped monoclinic crystal. Next one, the melting point. Rhombic sulfur melts at 385.8 Kelvin, whereas monoclinic sulfur will melt at 393 Kelvin. Next one is the density. The density of rhombic sulfur is 2.06 gram per centimeter cube, whereas for monoclinic sulfur it is 1.98 gram per centimeter cube. Please understand, in the density column it is written as 2.06. that 9 is nothing but gram. Okay, so please make changes. Okay, now the next one is the solubility. So the solubility of rhombic sulfur, it is soluble in carbon disulfide but it is insoluble in water. Okay, and monoclinic sulfur is said to be soluble in carbon disulfide. Next one is the stability. Rhombic sulfur is stable below 369 Kelvin and transforms to beta sulfur above this temperature. So for monoclinic sulfur it will be what? It will be stable above 369 Kelvin and it will transform to alpha sulfur below this temperature. Okay, so please remember this temperature 369 Kelvin. So it will be simple. Rhombic sulfur will be what? Stable below, and if the temperature exceeds it will turn to beta sulfur. Similar way, monoclinic sulfur it will be what? Above this temperature it will be stable, but below it will turn to alpha sulfur. Okay, so hopefully it is clear. Next one is the structure. Both are having the same structure with acid molecules, that is they are having puckered ring structure. Okay, so next one we will see the method of preparation, which is very important. So the first one, that is rhombic sulfur, is prepared by evaporation of rolled sulfur in carbon disulfide, whereas for monoclinic sulfur we use rhombic sulfur. That means rhombic sulfur is melted in a dish and cooled till what is formed? The crust is formed. Once the crust is formed, what will happen? We are going to make two holes and we will pour the excess liquid out of that crust. Okay, that is what it is written. Two holes are made in the crust and remaining liquid is poured out to give a needle shaped crystals of beta sulfur. So hopefully you understood the method of preparation of both the sulfur. Now please understand, this question can be asked directly as to write down the properties of rhombic sulfur or to write down the properties of monoclinic sulfur, or they can ask you to write down the distinguishing points of rhombic and monoclinic sulfur. Now we'll see the structure of S8 and S6 molecule. In S8 molecule, the ring is puckered and has a crown shape, whereas in cyclo S6, the ring adopts the chair form. Okay, so hopefully it is clear. The puckered form is the puckered ring structure is the first one. Okay. Next, we'll start with oxoacids of sulfur, which is a very important topic. From here, you have to study the names, the formula, and the structure of all the oxoacids of sulfur. For you, 6 oxoacids are there, so that all thing you have to learn nicely. And many a time, sometimes what happens, they directly give you the formula and ask you to write down the structure, or else they give the formula and ask you to write down the structure. Or sometimes the oxidation state of sulfur is asked. So it can be anyway. So always remember, if it is us, OUS at the end, so the oxidation state of sulfur will be +4. And if it is ic acid, it is always +6. That means higher oxidation state, it will be represented by ic acid, and lower oxidation state acid will be represented by us acid. Okay, so hopefully till here you understood. Now how to remember all this structure? So always remember, first thing, that in the structure is the number of hydrogen. Count the number of hydrogen in each of the structure. If for example in first structure there are 2 hydrogen, that means there will be 2 OH groups. Similar way, the OH group depends upon the number of hydrogen there. So that thing is clear. Then always remember, there will be one S double bond O. There will be one S double bond O group in the structure. So if you remember these two things, rest is very simple for you to understand. And the rest, the other thing we'll just see whenever we are seeing the structure. Okay, so the first one, sulfurous acid. Sulfurous acid is H2SO3. So H2 means there will be 2 hydroxyl groups. So it will be, I have written S written, and 2 hydroxyl group first I will label. So it is OH and OH, down it is written, and obviously I told you that one double bond O group will be also there. So it is S double bond O. So 3 oxygen done, 2 hydrogens done, and 1 sulfur is there. And as a valence electron of sulfur is 6, therefore there is one lone pair in this structure. That's it. Okay, so hopefully it is very simple to remember. Now next one, sulfuric acid. You know the formula. What is that? H2SO4. Similar way, I'll write down S first, then there are 2 hydrogen in the formula. That means there will be 2 hydroxyl group. So I have attached the hydroxyl group. Then I have told you there will be 1 double bond O group for sure. So I have added 1 double bond O. Now I'll count how many atoms have completed. So 1 S is done, 2 hydrogens are done, and 3 oxygens are done. So 1 oxygen is remaining. So 1 oxygen cannot be simply there. So it will be S double bond O. One more S double bond O will be there. So now count, S is having how many bonds? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So there will be no lone pairs in this structure. Okay, so hopefully it is understood. So this too is very important for the reference. Always remember, sulfurous acid is H2SO3, sulfuric acid is H2SO4. So by this reference we can find out other structures. Next one is di or pyrosulfuric acid. Okay, over there you can see the formula as what? H2S2O7. Okay, Now if I count the, you know that number of hydrogen 2 means there will be 2 hydroxyl group. That is right. OH is right over here. Next is what I'll put, there are 2s, that means I am going to put 2s and I'll attach 1 OH to each one. That thing is done. So 2s is done and OH is done. Now how many oxygens are remaining there? It is what, 2 oxygen done. So it will be 7 minus 2, 5 more oxygens I have to put in the structure. So what I will do, if I have to put 5 more oxygen, nothing else is there, so there will be double bond there. Okay, so each of the S will be having 2 double bonds. So double bond O, and only 1 oxygen will be there in between. Then only it will be O7. If you count the number of oxygen in this structure, it is 8. So just count 1, 2, 3, 4 in one, and other also it is 4. That means it is coming to be 8. So the structure over here is wrong. So what should be structure? There should not be any extra oxygen in between. Only the linkage will be SOS bond will be there. There should not be 2 O bond in between. Okay, so that is a mistake. Please make changes. Okay. Next, I'll show the correct structure in the next slide. Next one is a fourth one, peroxymonosulfuric acid. Okay, now you know the formula of what? Sulfuric acid. What is the formula of sulfuric acid? It is H2SO4. Now whenever it is peroxy, now it is monosulfuric. That means only one sulfuric acid is there. So I have to derive peroxy monosulfuric acid from one sulfuric acid. So I will write down first H2SO4. Okay, once I have written H2SO4, then peroxy means there will be extra O in the structure. So therefore the formula it will be H2SO5. Hopefully it is understood. Just understand, whenever you see the word peroxy, that means one extra oxygen will be there in the structure. Okay, simple. So what will be the structure? Similar to sulfuric acid, everything remains same. Only one of the OH group, in between that one O is there. So it will be SO and OH bond. Okay, so that is only the difference over there. Now the next structure is peroxy disulfuric acid. What is the formula given? It is H2S2O8. Okay, now the formula whatever is given is right. Okay, but when you count the number of oxygen in the structure, it is less. Therefore this structure is wrong. This we'll see in the next slide. Next one, the last oxo acids of sulfur is thiosulfuric acid. Whenever you hear this word thio, that means always remember there is one extra sulfur and there will be one oxygen less. That means what? One S will be more and one oxygen will be less. So I know the formula of sulfuric acid. What is sulfuric acid? It is H2SO4. In that thing, one S is more. So what will be the formula? H2S2 and oxygen is less. So it will be O3. So hopefully the formula is very simple, and once I know the formula, first I am going to write one S there. Okay, I know there are 2 hydrogens. I am going to put 2 hydroxyl group. Done. Next I am going to add 1 double bond O. So till here how many oxygens are completed? 3 oxygens are completed. 2 hydrogens are completed. 1 S is completed. Now one more S is there. Now where that will go? That will be written as double bond S there. Okay, so hopefully these structures are clear to you. Please write and practice. It is very 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 important. If you know sulfurous and sulfuric acid, everything is very simple, and you only have the derivatives, means the different structures of sulfuric acid there. Okay, so next slide we will see. Now this is the corrected structure of third one and fifth one. Okay, now we'll just see how the structure is. The first one is di, or it is also called as di or pyrosulfuric acid, and the formula is given as H2S2O7. Now how we can remember this formula? Okay, whenever you hear this word pyro, that means what? Heat. Pyro is what? Simply heat. Okay, now di. Okay, di means there will be 2 things, 2 sulfuric acid together. So I can say that to derive this formula, you can just do is acid into 2 minus H2O. Whenever you hear this pyro thing, always do acid into 2 minus H2O. Obviously, when you heat two molecules of sulfuric acid together, there will be removal of water there. Okay, so what I'll do, H2SO4 into 2 minus H2O. So H2SO4 into 2 means what will be the formula? It will be H4S2O8 minus H2O. Then it will come as H2S2O7. So always remember, don't buy hard things. Pyrosulfuric acid, that means we are giving heat to sulfuric acid, that means two sulfuric acid will fuse together. Right, now how it will fuse together? By the removal of water. Okay, so you can understand, just write down this formula there, H2SO4 into 2 minus H2O. Okay, so the formula will be H2S2O7. Now we will just see the structure. As there are two hydrogen, there will be two OH groups. That is done. There are two S. So I will write down first two S separately. I will attach OH to each of the sulfur. Next, I will count how many oxygen are left out. Okay, once two oxygens are there in hydroxyl group, that means 7 minus 2. That means 5 oxygens are left out. Now, nothing else is there to be attached with oxygen, right? So where it will go and attach, and we know that S can have valence electron 6, right? So therefore it will be S is double bond O, and other side also it will be having double bond O. So 4 oxygens done, one more oxygen is left. So I will just attach both the sulfuric acid by O group. Okay, in between there will be SOS group. You can also remember, in this manner you can draw two structures of sulfuric acid and remove water from that molecule. That is also done. Okay, so hopefully you will remember this structure. Next one is peroxy disulfuric acid. Okay, to understand this word peroxy, I have told you peroxy means one extra oxygen. Now it is written as disulfuric acid. Again, here we are going to use 2 sulfuric acid. Okay, so what I am going to do, first I am going to add 2 disulfuric acid, means I am going to add 2 sulfuric acid. So the formula will be at the end, it will be H4S2O8. Now when 2 sulfuric acid are fused together, then there will be removal of water. So what I have to do, I have to subtract H2O from H4S2O8. So the formula will be H2S2O7. Now as the name is peroxy, I have to add one extra oxygen. Therefore it will become as what? H2S2O8. So hopefully it is very simple. Now as you can see, both the structure over here, or both the names over here, the first one is disulfuric acid. So if you know that formula H2S2O7, then peroxy disulfuric acid will be, the structure will be having one extra oxygen. So it will be H2S2O8. Hopefully it is clear. Now we will see the structure. Okay, over here there are how many hydrogens? There are 2 hydrogens. That means first I will write down 2 sulfur there. I will attach OH group to each of the sulfur. Okay, till that is done. Now how many oxygens are left? It is 8 minus 2. So there are 6 oxygens left. So similar to the other structure, I am going to add double bond O, because only oxygens are left. So I will add 2 double bond O to each of the sulfur. Now again 2 oxygens are left. So what I am going to do, in between I am going to make a bond of O, single bond O, and attach to each of the sulfur. So this is how you can draw the structure. Now you can also remember this structure as, once you know how to draw H2S2O7, only one oxygen is extra. That oxygen can be written in between 2 sulfur. Okay, so this thing is clear, hopefully. Now we'll start with oxo acids of halogens. Halogens normally form many oxo acids. Out of that, only 4 have been isolated in pure form. They are hypofluorous acid, that is HOF. Second one is perchloric acid, HClO4. Third one is iodic acid, HiO3. And the last one is metaperoidic acid, that is H2IO6. Now others are stable only in aqueous solution or in the form of their salts. Now to talk about the acidic strength of halogens, acidic strength increases with increasing oxidation state of halogens. That means one example is given, that is HClO is a weak acid and HClO4 is a very strong acid. That means from HClO to HClO4 the acidic strength increases, as HClO will be having the oxidation state of chlorine as +1, whereas in perchloric acid, that is HClO4, the oxidation state of chlorine is +7. So it is said acidic strength increases with increasing oxidation state of halogen. Okay. Now we learn the oxidation state and the generic name of oxoacids of halogens. Okay. So to begin with, always remember when you hear this hypohalous acid, that means halous, it can be any of the halides. If it is chlorine, we call it as hypochlorous acid. If it is fluorine, we call it as hypofluorous acid. If it is bromine, we call it as hypobromous acid, and for iodine we call it as hypoiodous acid. So like that each one will vary. So generally we are talking about now halides. Okay. So whenever you hear hypohalous acid, the formula will be HXO. When you hear halous acid, it will be HXO2. Whenever you hear it as halic acid, it will be HXO3, and for perhalic acid it will be HXO4. Okay, so hopefully this thing is understood. One more way to remember, hyperhalous acid, there will be only one oxygen. Okay, halous acid there will be 2 oxygen, halic acid there will be 3 oxygen, and for perhalic acid there will be 4 oxygen. So this thing is very important while drawing the structure. Okay, so first one, hypohalous, the oxidation state of the halogen will be +1. For halous acid, the oxidation state will be +3. For halic acid, the oxidation state will be +5. And for perhalic acid, the oxidation state will be +7. Okay, so no need of by hearting everything. You can just remember, you can easily find out the oxidation state from the formula if you know the formula. Like for example, I'll take one example, that is hypofluorous acid. So the formula will be HOF. So if I say I want to find the oxidation state of fluorine there, so I will write it as what? Hydrogen, the charge is +1. So +1 plus oxygen, the charge is -2. -2 plus x is equal to 0. So I just have to solve it. So -2 plus 1, it will be -1. So -1 plus x equal to 0. So x will be equal to +1. So this is a way how you find out the oxidation state. Okay. So if you know the generic name and the formula, it is very simple for you to find out the formula for all the oxo acids of halogens. Okay. So now we'll see the structures of oxo acids of chlorine. So there are 4 structures which we have to learn. First one is hypochlorous acid. As you know the molecular formula now, it is HOCl. So the structure is simple. H single bond O single bond Cl. So this is how you draw the structure. Now just for your information, the oxidation state is +1 for chlorine, and if I ask you to find out the number of lone pairs in oxygen and in chlorine, it will be oxygen having 2 bonds will be having 2 lone pairs. Chlorine with 1 bond will be having 3 lone pairs, because we know the number of valence electron over there in chlorine is 7. Okay. So next one, chlorous acid, the formula is HClO2. So the structure will be HO is intact, single bond Cl, double bond O, that extra O is bonded with chlorine over there. So the extra oxygen whichever will be added will be always bonded with the chlorine. Okay, so the next one, chloric acid, HClO3, again HO intact, that is bonded with Cl, and it will be having 2 oxygen which is having a double bond with chlorine. Next one, perchloric acid, the formula is HClO4, it will be HO then bonded with Cl, and that chlorine is attached with 3 oxygen which is having double bond with chlorine. Okay, so hopefully it is understood. Once again, the first one, HOCl, the oxidation state of chlorine is +1. Second one, chlorous acid, the oxidation state of chlorine is +3. Third one, chloric acid, the oxidation state of chlorine is +5. Last one, perchloric acid, the oxidation state of chlorine is +7. Okay, in all the structures, the oxygen will be having 2 lone pairs, and rest all the structure, and the second structure over there, the chlorine will be having 2 lone pairs. Okay, and in the third structure, the chlorine will have 1 lone pair, and in the fourth structure, the chlorine won't be having any lone pairs. Okay, so hopefully this thing is cleared. Next, we'll start with the compounds of sulfur. The first one is sulfur dioxide. The formula is SO2. Okay, so first we'll see the preparation of sulfur dioxide. It is done by 3 methods: from sulfur, from sulfite, and from sulfides. From sulfite is a lab preparation, from sulfide is the industrial method. Okay, so first one, from sulfur, it is simple. Sulfur reacting with oxygen will give me sulfur dioxide. So we can say that sulfur dioxide gas can be prepared by burning of sulfur in air, and always remember you have to balance the reaction. Okay, next one, from sulfides. Over here we are using sodium sulfide. So sodium sulfide reacts with dilute sulfuric acid to give sodium sulfate, water, and sulfur dioxide. So this method of preparation is done in the laboratory. So now the last method of preparing sulfur dioxide is an industrial method of preparing it by roasting zinc sulfide or by roasting iron pyrites. Okay, so now we'll see the reaction for this. First one, zinc sulfide reacts with oxygen to give zinc oxide and sulfur dioxide. Okay, so heat is required since it is roasting. Next one, iron pyrites, the formula is FeS2, reacts with oxygen to give ferric oxide and sulfur dioxide. Okay, so hopefully these reactions are simple. You just have to balance both the reaction. Any one reaction you can write for industrial method of preparation. Okay, so now we'll see the properties of sulfur dioxide. So the first point, it is colorless and has pungent smell. Next, it is a poisonous gas. Next, it is highly soluble in water, and its solution is water is called sulfurous acid. Next one, it liquefies at room temperature under a pressure of 2 atm and boils at 263 Kelvin. So now we'll learn the chemical properties of sulfur dioxide. So the first one, it is reaction with chlorine. Sulfur dioxide reacts with chlorine in the presence of charcoal as a catalyst to form sulfuryl chloride. So what is sulfuryl chloride? It is SO2Cl2. Please remember the formula, and at the end balance the reaction. Second one, reaction with O2. Sulfur dioxide is oxidized by dioxygen in the presence of vanadium oxide to form sulfur trioxide. So the reaction is very simple. 2SO2 plus O2 in the presence of V2O5 will give me 2SO3. Okay. Next one, reaction with NaOH. So sodium hydroxide reacts with sulfur dioxide to give sodium sulfite plus water. So the reaction is NaOH plus SO2 gives Na2SO3 plus H2O. So you just have to balance the reaction. Next one, reaction with sodium sulfite. So what is sodium sulfite? Na2SO3. So Na2SO3 reacts with water and sulfur dioxide to give sodium hydrogen sulfide. So what is the formula of sodium hydrogen sulfide? It is NaHSO3. Okay, so hopefully it is understood. Only thing is you have to balance all the reaction whatever you are writing over here. So now we learn the reducing property of sulfur dioxide over here. First one, moist sulfur dioxide reduces ferric salts into ferrous salts. First you have to understand what is ferric and what is ferrous. Ferric is Fe plus 3 and ferrous is Fe plus 2. Always remember, lower oxidation state will get OUS and higher oxidation state will be getting IC. Okay, so it will be 2Fe3 plus reacts with sulfur dioxide plus 2 molecules of water to give 2 molecules of Fe2 plus SO4 2 minus plus 4H plus. Okay, next one, moist sulfur dioxide decolorizes acidified potassium permanganate solution. Okay, so over here you know what is potassium permanganate? It is KMnO4. It reacts with moist. Moist means there will be presence of water molecule. Therefore, the reaction will be KMnO4 plus SO2 plus H2O will give me the product as K2SO4 plus MnSO4 plus H2SO4. You just have to balance this reaction. Again, the last one, moist sulfur dioxide reduces halogens to halogen acids. So, sulfur dioxide and water will be there because it is moist sulfur dioxide. So, it reduces what? Halogen. So, I have taken iodine there. So, iodine I2 plus SO2 plus H2O will give me H2SO4 plus HI. So, hopefully this thing is clear. Next, we'll learn the structure of sulfur dioxide. So, sulfur dioxide is having an angular structure with OSO bond angle of 109.5 degree. Okay, so you can see the resonance structure. It is S double bond O and the other side is single bond O. O with one bond will be having 3 lone pairs. O with 2 bonds will be having 2 lone pairs, and S is having 1 lone pair. Now this both oxygen, you can see that one oxygen is bonded with double bond and the other one is single bond. So there will be movement of electrons over there. So we can draw the resonating structure as you can see there. Okay, so the SO bond arises from, that is SO double bond arises from D pi P pi bonding. So hopefully the structure is clear. So last one, we'll talk about the uses of sulfur dioxide. So first one, it is refining of petroleum and sugar. It is used in the refining of petroleum and sugar. It is used in bleaching wool and silk. It is used as anti-chlor disinfectant. It is used as a preservative. It is used in the manufacturing of sulfuric acid and sodium hydrogen sulfide. Next one and the last one, liquid sulfur dioxide is used as a solvent to dissolve a number of organic and inorganic chemicals. Okay, so please do write and practice all the reactions. Learn the oxo acids well. Okay, so next time we'll start with sulfuric acid. Okay then, bye.